When an INFJ is emotionally abused, this will happen. Today, we're going to talk about a critical and deeply painful topic, emotional abuse, and how it uniquely impacts INFJs. If you've ever wondered why INFJs react so intensely to emotional manipulation, neglect, or abuse, this video will help explain the reasons. Stay tuned until the end, where we'll explore what recovery looks like for INFJs and how they can regain their emotional strength. 1. INFJs are masters at hiding their pain. One of the first things to happen when an INFJ is emotionally abused is that they will likely try to conceal their pain from the world. INFJs tend to wear an emotional mask, pretending everything is fine, even when they are suffering deeply. They are protectors at heart, and they might continue to shield the abuser, either out of hope that things will improve or a desire to avoid conflict. Instead of confronting the abuse directly, INFJs often internalize their emotions, pushing them down and keeping the peace. This internalization can lead to feelings of confusion, self-doubt, and guilt as they try to rationalize the abusive behavior. 2. They'll start to doubt themselves. INFJs have a strong sense of intuition, but emotional abuse can erode their trust in themselves. When an INFJ is gaslighted or manipulated, they might start to question their reality. They will ask themselves, "Am I overreacting? Or maybe I misunderstood what happened." This self-doubt can be incredibly damaging because INFJs often rely on their gut feelings to navigate life. When an abuser causes them to second-guess their instincts, they lose a core part of what makes them feel secure. Over time, INFJs may even blame themselves for the abuse, believing they've somehow caused the negative behavior. 3. Emotional burnout and overwhelm. Due to their empathetic nature, INFJs are already prone to emotional exhaustion. When subjected to emotional abuse, this burnout accelerates. They'll feel emotionally overwhelmed, constantly navigating between their deep-seated desire to help and their growing realization that they are being mistreated. INFJs can get stuck in this emotional tug-of-war, leading to severe emotional fatigue. They will spend hours replaying situations in their mind, analyzing every word and action to try to make sense of the abuse. This obsessive analysis, combined with their inability to openly express their pain, can lead to severe stress, anxiety, and even depression. 4. INFJs tend to isolate themselves. One of the most significant consequences of emotional abuse for an INFJ is self-imposed isolation. INFJs are already introverted and prefer to keep a small circle of close relationships. When they feel emotionally abused, this circle shrinks even further. They may withdraw completely, unable to trust even those who genuinely care for them. This isolation serves as a defense mechanism, a way to protect themselves from more emotional harm. However, it can also exacerbate feelings of loneliness and despair. INFJs often feel like they are suffering in silence, unable to share their pain with others for fear of judgment or misunderstanding. 5. Loss of identity and purpose. INFJs often define themselves by their ability to connect with others and their role as emotional caretakers. When they experience emotional abuse, this role is flipped on its head. Instead of being the empathetic listener and healer, they become the victim. This shift can lead to a loss of identity, leaving them feeling directionless and unmoored. The abuse causes them to question their life's purpose, especially if it comes from someone they trust or care about deeply. They may feel like they've failed in their mission to help others, which only deepens their emotional suffering. 6. The emotional explosion. INFJs tend to bottle up their feelings for a long time, but there's always a breaking point. When an INFJ has endured emotional abuse for too long without expressing their pain, they may experience an emotional explosion. This often comes as a surprise to those around them because INFJs are usually so composed. However, when their emotional reservoir reaches its limit, they can no longer contain their feelings. The result is a raw and intense outburst, often directed at the abuser. While this emotional release can feel cathartic in the moment, it may also be followed by feelings of guilt or regret, as INFJs are deeply uncomfortable with conflict. 8. The INFJ's emotional depth and vulnerability. INFJs are known for their deep emotional connections and extreme empathy. They have an innate ability to sense the feelings of others, often picking up on emotional cues that many people miss. While this makes them incredible friends, partners, and counselors, it also puts them at significant risk for emotional abuse. Because INFJs are wired to care deeply about others, they often prioritize other people's feelings above their own. This tendency can leave them vulnerable to manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional neglect. When emotionally abused, an INFJ will internalize the pain much more intensely than other personality types due to their heightened sensitivity. INFJs are resilient, but emotional abuse leaves lasting scars. The road to healing requires time, self-awareness, and often professional help. Here are some steps INFJs might take on their healing journey. Setting boundaries. INFJs need to learn how to establish and maintain strong emotional boundaries. This is often difficult for them, as they are naturally inclined to be giving and self-sacrificing. But creating boundaries is essential to prevent future emotional harm. Rebuilding self-trust. Emotional abuse erodes an INFJ's trust in their intuition. Part of healing involves rediscovering and reinforcing this self-trust, allowing them to once again rely on their instincts. Seeking support. Although INFJs tend to isolate themselves, it's crucial for them to seek out supportive relationships during their healing process. Talking to trusted friends, family, or a therapist can help them process their experiences and regain a sense of emotional safety. Embracing self-care. INFJs must prioritize self-care, whether through creative outlets, mindfulness practices, or spending time alone in nature. Engaging in activities that replenish their emotional reserves can help INFJs reconnect with their sense of inner peace. When emotionally abused, INFJs feel the pain on a profound level, often doubting themselves, isolating, and struggling with their emotional identity. But despite the intensity of their suffering, INFJs have an incredible capacity for resilience. With time, self-compassion, and the support of those who truly understand them, INFJs can heal and reclaim their emotional strength. Remember, if you are an INFJ who has been emotionally abused, know that you are not alone. Your empathy, depth, and sensitivity are gifts, and with the right support, you can emerge stronger and more self-aware than ever before. Healing is possible, and your journey to reclaiming your power begins today.